Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In a few days, Secrets of Power will be released and we will start a period of deck building over the next month as we get ready for the next competitive season. So 6 sets means a lot of cards. There's 1,500 cards that we are now able to build our decks with. That is a lot of cards to be flipping through folders. I store each set in a folder, and for me to remember what cards are available for a particular deck or particular color, it's a lot of flicking through folders. Luckily for us, on the SWUDB site, where typically everyone builds their decks and has their digital copy of their list, they have a search facility. That search facility is quite powerful, but it can be quite confusing to the average user. So I wanted to spend a bit of time going through that and how I use the SWUDB search to build my decks. So first off, you've got a search bar here. This search bar allows you to search for any types of text. It'll just search for the either the title or the description. So I can search for Dedra here, and then it will show me, it'll search the title and show you those two cards. If it only finds one match, it'll take you straight to the card as well. Now, that's fine, and that's how most people use it. But if you click on the syntax button here, there is a whole bunch of syntax logic that you can apply to the search. So I'm going to go over the ones that I use. So let's start off simple. Now, it has a syntactical search in the sense that you can type in like a keyword. So for this particular instance, we can type in set. If we can either type colon or equals. I like to type equals, so I can type set, and then I can use the acronym for that particular set. For SOR is Sparks of Rebellion. It will show me the Sparks of Rebellion cards. You can then type in SEC and you'll get the new ones, which are the Secrets of Power. Now, from there, you can construct a query by using other keywords. So if I wanted to have, let's say, traits, so we know traits are the little keywords that sit underneath underneath the character there. So if I wanted to say trait hut, it's going to take me straight to the card because there was only one hut there. Now, if I wanted to look across all cards for huts, is there only one? No, there's many. So you can see here are all the huts that we've got across all of the sets. So that's the trait keyword. What you can also do with traits is you can combine them together as well. So if I wanted to look at trait force, you can also go trait hut. So you can use a syntactical, say it's either this trait or that trait. So if I search on that, I'm going to get all the force ones and all of the hut. Now, if I wanted to look at beyond traits and I want to look at colors, I can use C for color, and then the type of color. So if I want to look at all yellow cards, then there it is there, C equals Y. And then if I want to look at all yellow cards in the current set, every time you add a new one in, it's just like doing an AND, unless you specifically put the OR in the expression. So this is not too exciting at the moment. Color equals yellow, set equals Secrets of Power. Now, beyond equals, you can also do less than equals. So if I can go color equals yellow white, it's going to pull back down all the ones that are cunning aspects and also all the ones that are also the white. So yellow white or just plain cunning. So we can see them all there. If you wanted to do, let's say you're interested in the blue villainy ones, so B for blue, and because B was already taken, they've used the end of black, so BK. It would show me all the blue black ones in this current set. Now, there are other keywords now. So let's say L for location, and we say, show me all the space units that are up in space. Then we can see all the new ones in the set. Now, if I wanted to look at all blue, black across all sets, I just remove that particular expression there. So now we can have a look at some of the other expressions. So we can get keyword sentinel. So it's going to show me all the sentinels across the entire set. If I wanted to look at the ones that cost, let's say 6, there we go there. These colons, you can use interchangeable colon or equal. So it shows me all the sentinels across all the sets that cost 6. I can go, well, I'm only interested in space sentinels. So location equals space. And there we go. There's only 3 in the current set. Now, if you're only interested in, okay, let's say we want to look at cost equals 6, and then we want to look at type. So type equals E, which is event. We can look at all 6 cost events across the across all the sets. So event, you've got U for unit, and if you click the syntax, you will see all the potential values and that for it. So then let's go into scenarios and look at some more complex queries. So just before I do that, I did want to talk about you can place brackets around these things. And when you do a bracket, it will do that expression first. So if you think back to your school days, so I can go, it either looks like green, black, or blue, black. It will evaluate that particular section first before doing the rest of the query, which is sometimes necessary there. So all the cost 6 that are either green, black, or blue, black. So let's look at some scenarios, because I've been building some decks and I've been hitting some weaknesses in the deck and thinking, okay, how do I solve this particular problem? What is in the card pool that could potentially help me in that particular match? So one of the ones I had was Dryden Voss. Now, Dryden Voss, if you don't know, allows you to ambush a 5 cost or less unit in by if you pitch a unit a card that costs 6 or higher. So I want to look at units that cost 5 or less that are in the space area. So let's start with that. So we want to go 5 or less, and then a location is space. Okay, so that's going to get us all the ships. Now we know the shell that we know Dryden Voss is green, black. So we want to look at color equals green, black. So green, G for green, K for the end of black. Okay, so it's going to get us all of the ones that cost 5 or less that are green, black. Now, I might have a vigilance base. So what I can do then is color less than equal blue, black. And then also get the blue. Now, this is one of those situations where you need to put them in brackets because it's an or between those two. So because I'm building an expression out, whether it can be green, black, or blue, black, I can then run that expression there. So we're getting blue, blacks. We can see they're ordered by set first. So you can see the sort, set, and then name, or you can sort by cost and that as well. And then we're looking at all of these potential ambush targets that we can have in space to attack our opponent with. So we've got like a sentinel here. We've got the survivor's gauntlet when played on attack. The old system patrol craft. So one of the better ones to do is the devastating gunship. So if you have saw my video on Dryden, I talk about how the devastating gunship is such a good unit because you can ambush it in first, then defeat, and then you've got that grit sort of built into it. You've also got cards like the MC30, which should be just here there. The MC30 Assault Frigate is a decent option as well. So we scroll back up the top, you can see the expression there and then how I build it out. Now, one thing we did leave off here is that we're only interested in units. So we could go type equals unit as well, but we only had units come back because events don't have a location. So this effectively did the same thing as excluding that part out as well. Now, if you didn't want to put location in space, you could have done trait equals vehicle, but we also have some space units now that are not vehicles, things like the Minoc and that, and then that's why I didn't use the trait vehicle. All right, so let's do another one. So let's say we're building a Ray Blue deck, and we're looking at what units that we want to have that have restore, because we're going to build a restore engine down on the ground, and we want some units to fill out the first couple of turns. So keyword KW and then restore will give us back all units with restore. So now we're getting some of the villainy ones. We do not want the villainy ones at all there. So we're going to say color less than or equals a blue white. So that's going to pull us back all blue and all blue white cards. So there we can have it there. Now we're looking at the results here. We're seeing Luke Skywalker up at 7 for, we're only interested in the first couple of turns. So we want to reduce the cost by cost equals less than or equals 3. So now we can see here are all the units that are that have restore that we're able to play in our deck. So this is a great way, without getting the folders out, quickly skimming across a whole bunch of cards. Now, another interesting one is that Padme Amidala has an ability where she can trigger off ping damage anytime you discard or when you disclose. So if I was to look at the cards that have disclose, I could go A equals disclose, and that should pull back all the, so A's for ability equals disclose. They're all listed in the syntax there. Here are all the disclose cards. Now I can then say, well, you know, I'm playing Padme, so Padme is yellow-white, so I'm only interested in yellow-white because I'm playing, let's say, a double yellow deck. And then we can see Faith in Your Friends, charged with espionage. You can see, well, they haven't really provided a huge amount of support. There's 6 cards in the set in that specific color. If we were to go, okay, well, I'm going to pair it with Tarkentown. So I can say yellow equals red-white. So it can either equal yellow-white or red-white. And we can pull that back, and we got a bunch more in there as well. So another 1, 2, 3, 5 cards, because we can't really count chairman in there. Okay, so that is how we do it for disclose. Now you may also want to say, okay, I want the other side of it. Discard has been around for much longer, so disclose was only a set 6 mechanic. Now we want to use we want to look at discard, because we know there's cards like Mix Mayfield and that have been around in the past that trigger discard. So we go ability equals discard. We're only going to be interested in, let's say, the color equals yellow-white, or the color equals red-white. Okay, so then here's all our discard again. So, well, we're not using that one, forced throw, but K2SO, that causes a player to discard. So you'd have to check with, I think it's only discard from your hand. And then we got black 1. That was a set 1 legendary, and you know that could trigger off. So you would think about, okay, well, black 1. Let me go back up the top and let's check on the exact text that is said for Padme. So let's go down. So Padme we know is yellow-white. When you reveal one or more, or reveal or discard one or more cards from your hand. Okay, so it's coming from your hand. You may well deal 1 damage. And this is her unit side. So when Padme is out, it can trigger multiple times. So if I deployed Padme on 6 and then played black 1, discarded my hand, and let's say I had 5 cards in my hand, that is only 1 damage actually. Reveal or discard, because we're discarding them all at once. We can do 1 damage to the opponent there. You can't do 5, unfortunately. What else have we got? Reveal is not... yes, we discard with 4 cores, I believe, within. So that would trigger also. We've got Smoke and Cinders. and then that's an opponent. So you'd have to read through these to say, okay, which ones would trigger it. So Ezra would trigger because you can, no, it wouldn't because that's a discard from hand. Yeah, so Ezra wouldn't trigger it as well. So you have to think about these ones to see which one works and which one doesn't. Poe Dameron would definitely work because we're discarding cards from our hand as well. So yeah, and then Migs would also trigger. Let's say you discarded it with Poe and you had a Migs out, you could potentially do a bit more damage along the way. So there we have it. That's how I use the SWUDB search. I encourage you to check it out for yourself. And we are just about to enter a period of intense deck building, pre-releases this weekend. Excited for the new set. And that's all I have for today. So thanks for tuning in. If you have any ideas or questions around the syntactical search, drop them down in the comments. And then I will talk to you next time.